Hakajing Shong Dorbar Sinrai, Jong Ying Dorbar Tawan Jong Jylla, Tagasngi U Emily Jong Mausunram constituency Uba HM Shangpliang, Ulale Bandra, Yakakol attention motion. Habai day, but Kikam Ilekai Hakajilla, Dakaba Ulayang Ruba Unsot, Yaki Katuk and Ikimat, Kibay day Naga State Sports Policy. Hagani ki jingkren uba Shangpliang ula penpau ye ki babun ki jingtuna bat dan rupat ki ba uyaro ne ban pertu ye ki ki kam ki babha ki ba ka sarkar jala kletmu bande hakalyang ka ban kintiu ye ki kam ilekai hag jala habayang banjubap ya kani kamat jingetai nakalyang umentri rang ba ka jala konrad ki sagma ula penpau ba hakani ki shisnem shiteng ka jingtmu ban sedang pentulun syakmat ya borok ki kam kila sakot hadin ke jingwan ban lingshop jangka klam COVID-19 Ki katu kan ki paso jongki jubab na ukonrat ki sangma halo ka call attention motion uba HM Shangpliang kalong ka jingpun pena hakabai day bat ki kam bantay penpha shusho ya ka JN Stadium Apollo ka jingkre ban mang ya ka song pisa ka bang kam kerpang sigilai teli sunjuk ilakai ki badan hagajala ka jingkre ban pedang nagamta ban pelong ya ki babun teli ki limpung ba ilakai niduk regional national bat kiwe ha usnem arhajar arpu aru banwan kablong artat kum shimta ka jingrakhil ya ka lingkhosnem ka basanpo ya ka jingyo ya ka jala ka bopura ha ka baide ba ka jingpun khre ya ka national games arhajar arpu ar u konrad ula penpau ba ka jingwan ban lingshop yang ka klam kala pensa akut ya ki babun ba kikam.
So, Honorable Speaker, in the recently concluded Tokyo Olympics, India finished 48 on the medal tally. This is its highest ranking in over 4 decades. The previous best was it's ranked at 51st in the Beijing Olympics in 2008, when India won 3 medals, including Avinav Bindra's gold. In Tokyo Olympics, India finished with 1 gold, 2 silver, and 4 bronzes, with its richest medal haul and the finest performance of all time by our country. Honorable Sir, kindly allow me to quote the words of the Honorable Chief Minister, Conrad Sangma, which he made in the Independence Day celebration on the 15th of August 2021 in the Polo Grounds, Shillong. I quote, "I would like to congratulate all our medal winners whose performances have made us proud. I'm also saddened for not having any athlete from our state on the National Olympic squad. I am determined that we should at least have a few of our athletes on the Paris Olympic squad in 2024. Today, I make a commitment to our athletes and sports associations that the government will do everything possible to achieve this dream." Unquote, sir. So the working president of the Meghalaya State Olympic Association, Sri Ri Khasi Jaintia, in an exclusive conversation with the Meghalaya Times in a news daily, stated, and I quote, "It takes 10 years of hard work, practice, training, full support systems, and must have the latest qualified fitness specialists, rehabilitation and injury specialists, qualified coaches, dietitians, psychologists, nutritionists, cardiologists, orthopedists, masseurs, in performance and monitoring centers for the athletes continuously for years to produce Olympians." Unquote. So he also said that the time that Meghalaya has potential to produce world-class athletes and Olympians from the state, and the MSOA looks forward to produce Olympians only by 2028 or 2032. So there are 2 contradictory visionary statements, one from the Chief Minister targeting for Paris Olympics in 2024, and the other from the working president of the MSOA, who is targeting for 2028. Nevertheless, my question is, how do we begin, and how and when should the countdown start? The Department of Sports and Youth Affairs released the Meghalaya State Sports Policy in 2019 with a vision to inculcate a sporting culture among the communities of the state through participation and excellence in sports leading to an energetic, healthy, and culturally vibrant Meghalaya. While appreciating the efforts put in while drafting the sports policy for the state, there are few gray areas which need to be addressed by the government, which I may like to bring to the notice of this august House. So in chapter 2.8 of the policy, with the evolution of the sports medicine and science in India, it is important that the right methods for treatment of injury and methods to enhance performance are adopted and implemented. So the Health Department is yet to create the Sports Medicine Cell and Performance Analysis Center in the state. In a meeting while drafting the sports policy, the Health Department expressed that this was a different stream altogether and required to be set up by private professionals to monitor the children after talent identification, and then has to be a complete ecosystem. So in chapter 4 of the policy, it says each district will have a sports school. May I ask the government whether these schools have been set up or sanctioned? So in chapter 8 of the policy, it says sports marks 5% of the total marks of a semester at the end of the academic year. This is where the committees are important to roll out the policies. Whether this policy has been started at the inter-school and the university level competitions recognized by the government. So chapter 14 of the policy, database management system. Database for the athlete's performance is one of the important factors to monitor the performance progress of the athletes. So to plan and the measures and to evaluate the impact of the measures, like the medal winning countries use this for different levels, for talent ID, performance of top professionals. Today, if an athlete does not pass the yo-yo test, basic fitness test measured through analytics in the morning, the cricketer cannot be fielded. So the numbers do not lie. Indian problems are manipulation in selection of athletes. Recently, the 7 medals that India won finally is a reality that the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India, and the Sports Authority of India had opened and allowed hiring of highly qualified, tested foreign coaches as chief coaches. So in chapter 15, page 562, para 1, it says the committee is to be chaired by the chief minister to meet once in 6 months, and page 563, monitoring and evaluation of the sports policy committee chaired by the minister or the secretary to be chaired once in 3 months. Although meetings have been held, the committees are yet to be notified, sir. And relating to the dates now. So the cabinet approved the policy on the 10th of June 2019, notified in the Gazette of Meghalaya on the 12th December 2019, and as on today, the official committee is yet to be formed or constituted, sir. Sir, point 1.6 of the policy, page 10, specifies the role of the community and parents in motivating and encouraging their children to join sports. So I'm not really sure how many of our parents and community folks out there will really guide their younger ones to take up sports professionally. In turn, parents are preventing their kids to be involved in any sports or to opt it out as a career because one is familiar with the sequence of episodes the children will have to go through: lack of training, coaching, insufficient infrastructures, continuous delay of support from the government, lack of employment opportunities for sports persons, and the list goes on, sir. So point 1.7 spoke at length on the expected role of the school and educational institutions in the state, and in a very subtle manner states it is important that each school educational institution have both indoor and outdoor multi-game facilities. This statement has left behind a powerful message for all to ponder. In actuality, sir, it will stay in the books, good for the eyes to read, sir, only. So in situations when we get to witness that teachers have to run from pillar to post to demand for their salaries, their rights and areas from the government, where is the question of allocating a separate teacher to take care of sports activities in the schools? Even if such arrangements exist, it would be there in few established schools or in very few private educational institutions. And to make it appear that sports activities and infrastructures are available in all the schools in Meghalaya is a false claim, sir. Let us not even waste time, our time discussing the same for the rural school setups. So the budget allocated for the sports, we have had many of our best athletes in the state who have risen from rural Meghalaya against the odds with no proper infrastructure, coaching, training, and guidance, and yet they have made the state proud by bringing laurels in the past years. So the allocation of rupees 50 crore for the sports infrastructure in the rural areas is a commendable step taken by the government in the recent budget allocation. I must appreciate. But the same amount, if it reaches the target beneficiaries, will produce many successful sports persons in the future, sir. Another important figure highlighted in the budget is the allotment of incentives to 264 athletes under this policy. It would be worth mentioning that time and again we have had many of our athletes dropping out at the last moment because of their inability to have the required amount to participate in the scheduled national or international games, sir. Perhaps if such assistance can be provided to our youth on time by the government, we would have witnessed more successful stories hitting the headlines. So the delay in approving and handing over the amount to such participants can cause a lot of mental stress to them as they have availed the amount by taking loans and by borrowings. It would be ideal to hand over the promised amount, say 50% or 25% of the total expenses, much before the tournament, and not months after that they have returned back. Honorable Speaker, the rupees 200 crores allotted for the development of sports and youth affairs seems like a promising amount, and we hope that this amount will stand as a pillar to support the deserving individuals who genuinely want to make it big in sports, a desire to perform, to reach out and to give back to the state and the community in the best possible way that they can, sir. In conclusion, sir, if the sports policy has been approved by the government for the sake of achieving a milestone and left untouched in the pages of the files, then the vision of producing an Olympian by 2024 or 2028 will remain just a dream for the enthusiastic sports persons of the state, sir.
At the very outset, I would like to thank the mover of this call attention notice under the caption MSOA plans to produce Olympians by 2028, tabled by Shri Hima M. Shangpliang, MLA Mawsyngram Assembly. Sir, I would like to take this opportunity to highlight some of the plans of the state government and the MSOA to produce Olympians by 2028. Sir, in our state, 85% of the population is under 45 years of age. 74% is under 35 years of age, and 59% is under 25 years of age. This large portion of young population, if provided the right opportunity, could become the key agents of social change, economic development, and technological innovation. So, taking due cognizance of this, the state sports policy and the state youth policy was approved in 2019 and 2020, respectively. So the policies lay out a detailed framework for engaging and empowering the 12 lakh young people of the state in the age group of 15 to 29 years to be able to realize their full potential in various spheres, including sports. Our policy frameworks are designed around promoting sports, both to achieve competitive excellence and for improving overall well-being. And as was mentioned by the honorable member in his submission, that a large part of the provisions and the objectives that we had, we were not able to move forward in them, sir. And we are all aware that it has been a very difficult past 2 years for all of us. So first of all, I'd like to say that this is the government that took the initiative to come up with a sports policy. It took 50 years almost, I should say 47 years, for the state to have a youth policy. So there, in itself, we have clearly shown our intention to ensure that the youth and sports is given the necessary structure, framework, and a plan to how to move forward in order to be able to uplift the youth and also make sure that more and more sports people come out from our state in a successful manner. Yes, I agree that we have not been able to go as per plan. And we all know why. Because the last few months and years, because of the COVID situation we faced, leave aside having normal competitions and different programs and contests for sports, we could not even allow people to play sports in the state. So therefore, the question of us being able to really push this forward was not an easy one, especially keeping in mind that the primary objective of the government in the last 1.5 years was to fight COVID-19 and prevent the spread of COVID-19. And that has what has affected us in the entire plan of actually implementing the sports and the youth policy in a proper manner. So it has been a challenging 1.5 years, but clearly, sir, the intent of the government was very clear, and that is why we came out with this youth and the sports policy for the state, sir. So recently we have witnessed that the youth of the country put their best ever performance at Tokyo Olympics. This has made us all proud. However, as mentioned by the honorable member, in my speech I had mentioned that there was no athlete in the Olympic squad from Meghalaya. And given a large population of the youth, the government felt that a concerted effort needs to be made with the goal of having an athlete representing the country in 2024. Now, he had mentioned the fact that there are two separate goals, one by the MSOA and one by the government. Sir, I don't see any harm in having two goals. The idea is it's the same goal. It's just that we have raised the bar for ourselves and felt that we may need to work as hard as possible. And having said that, we are not here to say that, claim that who will be correct or who will not be. Only time will tell. But it is important that as a government, we must have a goal in mind, and more importantly, we must have a plan to move forward to achieve that particular goal. And that is what I had mentioned in my Independence Day speech. So the state government also has realized that in order to achieve that goal, a large number of activities needed to be taken up. Number one is sports infrastructure development and upgradation. And in that aspect, in the last 3 years, large number of projects have been approved and work has started for infrastructure development in the major cities and towns as well as in the rural areas. For example, so the upgradation and enhancement of the Jawaharlal Nehru Sports Complex, Shillong. The component of the projects includes an Olympic-sized swimming pool of 50 meters by 25 meters and a practice pool of 25 by 17 meters, a fitness center, 5 AITA-compliant tennis courts, multi-purpose indoor halls of 60 meters by 40 meters, squash courts, table tennis halls, jogging track, open amphitheater, 10-meter and 25-meter shooting range, banquet halls, cafeteria and restaurants, and administrative office spaces. The upgradation and enhancement of the JNS complex has been segregated into 3 projects. Upgradation of the JNS outdoor sports complex, which is estimated at 39.01 crores. The tendering is in process. The integrated indoor sports complex, which is estimated at 96.49 crores, the DPR is prepared, technical sanction and administrative approval has been accorded. JN and number 3, JN Aquatics and Tennis Complex, estimated at 39.39 crores, the DPR has been prepared, technical sanction is being processed. Similarly, sir, in Tura, the PA Sangma Integrated Sports Complex, at a total estimated cost of for upgradation and construction of sports infrastructure at 127.98 crores. The project comprises of 2 indoor complexes and an outdoor football stadium, including a FIFA-compliant football field with modular lighting, seating capacity of 9,500, VIP seating gallery and lounge, 25 meters by 19 meters of swimming pool, badminton hall for 8 courts, table tennis hall, 4 squash courts, cafeteria, open-air dining space, public plaza, and administrative office spaces. The construction work is ongoing at a good pace, with the football stadium expected to be completed by December 2021. Number 3, the YJL Outdoor Stadium, West Jaintia Hills District. So we have a project in Khasi Hills, we have a project in Garo Hills, and we have a project in Jaintia Hills. The stadium includes a FIFA-approved synthetic football turf and an Athletics Federation-approved synthetic athletics track with seating capacity of 3,000 and VIP and media galleries and administrative office spaces. The estimated cost of this project is 24.97 crores. Number D, the Ampatti Outdoor Stadium, Southwest Garo Hills District. The stadium is being constructed at an estimated cost of 46.64 crores. It shall feature a FIFA-compliant football stadium, VIP seating gallery, commercial retail space, seating capacity of over 15,000 and administrative office spaces. Additionally, 57 grassroots level sports infrastructure projects, including renovation and new constructions, have been sanctioned in the financial year 2020-2021, amounting to 20.72 crores, and 110 projects in the present financial year 2021-2022, amounting to 67.86 crores. In total, the government has initiated sports infrastructure projects with a total investment of about 500 crores in the sports infrastructure area. Such large-scale investments in the sports sector has never been done in the state before. This infrastructure would provide the foundation for the youth of the state to participate and achieve competitive excellence. Number 2 aspect, sir, is competitions and tournaments. Another aspect to achieve sporting excellence is the organization and conduct of competitions and tournaments. The Meghalayan Games were organized for the first time again after a gap of 16 years in the year 2020. The event saw participation of over 1,600 athletes. The event has now been institutionalized and shall be conducted on an annual basis by the Meghalaya State Olympic Association with support from the Meghalaya State Government. This competition provides a platform for the young athletes of the state to test and showcase their skills. Through competitions such as these, talented athletes are identified for further grooming and development. The state is slated to host the 39th edition of the National Games. The COVID pandemic has disrupted sporting calendar across the globe, including the National Games. However, hosting of the National Games will play an important role in inspiring the athletes of the state to compete and achieve laurels for the state. The state government in close coordination with the MSOA and the various state sports associations is in the process of submitting candidature for hosting various international, national and regional competitions in the year 2022 as we celebrate the Golden Jubilee year of the state. Centers of Excellence. Sir, establishing centers of excellence with state-of-the-art sports science equipment and Experienced technical manpower is an essential ingredient for producing champions, as was mentioned by the mover of this particular call attention. And we have realized that importance, and that's why in the JNS Stadium Complex in Shillong has been accorded the accreditation of a Center of Excellence under the Sports Ministry flagship program, Khelo India. Under the scheme, 3 Olympic sports disciplines, boxing, athletics, and archery, are slated to be supported technically and financially with a grant of approximately 8 crores over a period of 4 years. This would enable the state government to mobilize qualified and experienced coaches and technical manpower and produce modern sports equipments and procure modern sports equipments which would aid in the nurturing of sports talent in the state. Over 10 centers in the state have received accreditation from the Khelo India scheme as district-level small Khelo India centers. The centers would be financially supported for procurement of sports equipment and support to technical staff. The state also is in progress of further leveraging the various verticals of the Khelo India scheme for grassroots sports development. Post the construction of the PA Sangma Integrated Complex and the JNS Stadium, the state is contemplating entering into partnership with international and national level sports institutions and bodies for setting up centers of excellence at the 2 venues. Support to state sports associations is also important. The government recognizes that various sports associations need to be strengthened and supported so that they can effectively discharge their mandate of developing and promoting sporting disciplines. The sports department has been conducting coordination, workshops, and seminars with the MSOA and the State Sports Association to understand the support that they require for sports equipment, participation in national, regional level tournaments, and recruitment of technical manpower. We are in the process of formulating a scheme in line with the sports policy for extending systematic support to the MSOA and the various sports associations. Talent identification and development. Sir, another critical step for producing Olympians is to identify the right talent from the right age groups. For instance, for the 2024 Olympics, the right age group to identify and nurture would be the current 15 to 20-year-olds. For the 2028 Olympics, the relevant target age group would be much younger. We are putting in place a talent identification and development program in coordination with MSOA. Under the program, a large number of children under different age groups would be screened, and those exhibiting potential would be channeled into more structured training programs. This program shall be conducted using globally accepted online and offline testing modes. Sir, the honorable member and the mover of this call attention, as I had mentioned in the beginning, had quoted some of the different clauses that came up in the sports policy, and we are very much aware of those issues and those clauses, including the aspects of the schools, aspect of the different committees headed by Chief Minister and the Sports Minister, and the roles of the communities, especially parents, and the role of the schools. Sir, as I have mentioned, for the first time, there has been a systematic, scientific way of actually approaching this entire sports sector. We need to realize that simply waiting for a talent to come out would not be a successful strategy for us. And therefore, we need to, like many other countries have done, start with ensuring that we identify talent, we support the different organizations, we create the infrastructure, we have the different stakeholders who are involved in it, also supporting these sports people from a very young age. And only when we have this entire holistic approach with large incentives for the sports person himself or herself, only then can we actually achieve on having an Olympian at the earliest, hopefully by 2024, if not, if not, then obviously hopefully by 2028. But our efforts are going to be very aggressive, and we would want that we achieve 2020 in 2024. But obviously, COVID has played a spoiler for us, and we have not been able to move at the pace that we wanted to. So therefore, sir, in conclusion, I would like to thank the honourable member for moving this very important call attention. Yes, it is important. 2024 is our target. We hope that we'll be able to achieve it, but obviously a lot depends on how much effort we put in, and also on the overall conditions in terms of COVID, whether we are able to take the steps that we would want in this particular area. And we will be working with all the stakeholders, including the MSOA and schools and different stakeholders, in trying to achieve this particular goal of us, because it's something that we feel will make each and every one of us proud, and will also motivate other sports people who would like to see sports as a career alternative also. So with these few words and clarification, sir, I hope I have been able to satisfy the concerns of the honourable member, and would like to resume my seat. Thank you, sir.
Sincerely, sir, I'd like to thank the Honourable Chief Minister for the expected reply that I was waiting for, and the very positive approach towards the sports policy and the future of the sports person of the state, sir. We all would like to join hands together, in fact, and we'll all also be proud as citizens of the state to see at least one or two sports person to be in the squad of the Olympics in the near future, sir. So with these few words, sir, I'd like to thank the Honourable Chief Minister, sir.